live video. And yeah, assuming people can hear me and everything's good, I thought I would start this. It's probably important to start this with, I went off on an extended rant, I think, on the last video about subscriber ratios and helping the channel out and all that kind of stuff, and that did get bumped up. So I really thank you all. I think a lot of people did end up subscribing, and hopefully I made it clear why that's important for me and for the future of the channel. And I thought it might be also good to, I guess, premise this video with, it's a bit of a topic that I rabbit on a lot about, especially on the live videos, about what I perceive as what we've lost with the whole culture of buying music, of buying physical, you know, something tactile that you can hold on to, that you save up your money for and you go and buy. Obviously, music is consumed really differently now. It's very easy to get music. It's free. It's essentially free, right? We got all the all the familiar, beautiful faces popping in. Brooke Hornback, hello Brooke. Penny, Mike Rue, Christopher Chapier, and Suzanne Lash. Hello everybody. It is 9:30 here, or 9:34. I'm probably starting these videos a little bit, you know, casual, around about 9:30. Hard to be on time when you're doing the school run with a little fella who doesn't like getting ready for school. But yeah, I was sort of wanted to just lay this out, that music now, the way it's consumed is a lot different to when I was a kid, and probably when you were a kid, if you're watching this. My first album that I actually went out and bought was Def Leppard, Hysteria. And why is that so memorable? I guess it's memorable because it's the first album I bought, and I bought it. I was mowing lawns and saved up some pocket money, and I went down to my local record store, and I had seen it there. I had walked past the shop and seen that vinyl there, and just thought, man, that looks cool. I've heard Pour Some Sugar on Me on MTV, and just wanted that album so bad. And you value something when you have to pay for it, right? If you don't have to pay for something, you're just not going to value it the same way. You're not going to pay attention to it the same way. I've got a few little props, a few little treats here. Dug out some of my vinyl. Michael Jackson, Off the Wall. Now, first of all, look at the size of this. It's big, right? You can hold it. What happens when we open this massive thing up? We've got a piece of art. We are holding a piece of art. Well, almost fell out. And it's vinyl. You need to take care of it, and you used to take care of it, so you're not only saving up valuable, hard-earned money for your music, but you're really taking care of it. Another massive thing, I'm going to get to your comments, by the way, don't worry about that. Another massive thing that I feel like we've lost. Now, when I'd get an album like this, so Michael Jackson, Off the Wall, go out and buy it. First thing you do, you're going to look up the lyrics, especially when you're a kid. You know, what is he saying? You know, I want to make sure I've got the words right when I'm singing along in the shower. But on top of all this, if you look really closely, now hopefully you can see this, we've got personnel listing. So by buying this thing that I can hold in my hands, this piece of art that I love, I can see Paddy Austin did the lead and background vocals on It's the Falling in Love. Lewis Johnson, bass. John Robinson, drums. Wah Watson, guitar. I can see who played on the album. Musicians. I can see those people. I can see the names. Oh, how come this person didn't play on that track? You start to learn about music, about musicians. Now, with my young students, and some adults actually, now this is not a dig at them, this is just the way it is. They don't know musicians' names. They don't know, I would know who the engineer was, what months of the year it was recorded, the A&R person, producer. I knew who was doing BVs on albums that I loved. Yeah. I knew who was, everything, every little thing. I knew it all because, you'd get the album and you'd read it. This is not an album, obviously. This is a soundtrack, but near and dear to my heart. Yeah, I don't know if you guys agree with this view, and it's not a critique of how things are now or people who consume music in a certain way now. It's just the way it is. We've got some albums rolling in. Rush, Moving Pictures. Christopher, yes, 85.2K. We're getting there, man. Now, I've heard of this a little bit lately. Hey, Andrew. Best rock album is Scum Dog of the Universe. I think that got mentioned a few times when I was sort of talking about the classic rock stuff. Had never heard of it before that. Rainbow Rising from Rainbow. Deep Purple, In Rock, Judas Priest, Stained Glass. Now, that's a really tasty selection of albums right there because I don't know any of them. So I can't wait to check some of those out. Horn. Oh, sorry, Brooke. Horn? Brooke Hornback. Hysteria is actually the first CD I ever owned. Crazy. So we got that in common. Andrew Reday. G'day, Andrew from Australia. G'day. Robert Krober Jr. My first was Jimi Hendrix, Electric Lady. Classic album, of course. Sean Vidal. Pat Metheny Group. Pat Metheny was the first album you bought? That's some heady stuff, man. Wow. A. Brooks back. The first album I ever owned at 12 was MJ's Thriller. Now, you're not going to believe this, Brooke, but look what I've prepared earlier. And again, it's the artwork. You got so much attitude, and there was a identification with the cover art, with the artist, and again, you've got this massive. I mean, this is like a poster, right? Often albums would come with a poster. And clearly trying to give you a bit of value for money to encourage you to go out and buy the album. Yeah, it's just, it's crazy how much things have changed, And you go in, this one's got an unusual inlay. But look at that. And again, they were giving credits on the albums. Human Nature by Steve Porcaro and John Bettis. Steve Porcaro, had him on my podcast back on episode 31. Steve Porcaro is the keyboardist and founding member of Toto. And then I could look at the track, at the personnel list for the song, Human Nature. David Page from Toto as well. Steve Porcaro, Toto. Steve Lukather, the guitarist from Toto. Jeff Porcaro, the drummer from Toto. Paulinho da Costa, percussion. Michael Bodica, emulator. Arrangement by David Page, Steve Porcaro, and Steve Lukather. So this is essentially a Toto song. It was a Toto song that was given to Michael Jackson. And you start. So what that does is you go, you know what, that's a really amazing song. And clearly Michael Jackson's doing a good job recording it. Production's beautiful. But who are these people that wrote this song? They're all in a band called Toto. And then that takes you down this whole other path. That's gone now. You can Google it. So, I don't know, maybe you, you might have Post Malone, or who are some of the artists that some of my students bring in, Juice WRLD, some of the hip hop stuff. And, you know, because there's no album, there's no physical thing, there's a disconnect between the artist and you. You don't know who's involved in this. You don't know much about it unless you really dig and, you know, you go out of your way to dig it out. And not to mention, you know, there's probably not a lot of musicians on the album other than producer and that kind of thing. Who else we got here? I never know how to say your name, Phil. Phil Dubois? First album was Deep Purple's Machine Head, still love it. Led Zeppelin 4, Benjamin Downing. Suzanne. You skipped me, Andrew. Not good enough. So I'll say it again. Led Zeppelin 4 or Physical Graffiti, close second Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Has anybody done the Dark Side of Oz thing when you sync up Dark Side of the Moon with Wizard of Oz, the original Wizard of Oz? I actually did do that. It's an interesting experience. Some of it seemed pretty, it was quite cool actually. Patrick Schlosser, the greatest album of all time for me is Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. This is the other thing. Guilty pleasures. Not an album, but I was digging through the vinyl and I thought, man, what is going to trigger my viewers more than this kind of stuff? Nothing. What an album. What a film. I've totally lost my train of thought now. The whole concept of an album. The other thing now is I don't think people think in terms of albums, either the artist or the consumer. I think now, because it's on Spotify and it's a stream, people tend to go for a song. You know, oh, what's that song? I quite like that song. You hear it on the radio and then you find that song. You might get turned on to more of the artist's stuff, or you might not. You might just go from song to song to song, and there's no more deep dive. It's hard for me to relate to that as a musician, as someone who's so into music. I can never really understand when people say, I love this song, and they go, oh, I can't remember what it's called though. Well, how does the chorus go? Can't really remember. Well, do you remember who the band is? No. I can't really relate to that, you know. It's see if anyone remembers this one. Track Man. 1982. Side 1. Beat It. Is There Something I Should Know? Duran Duran. Little Red Corvette. Prince. Man, great songs. Total Eclipse of the Heart. You kidding me? Played that a lot on my cruise ship gig. Yeah, lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. Back to the comments. I know I'm horrifying you all with this vinyl collection here. Scroll back a little bit. Christopher Shapir. Top records for me may change daily. Of course, absolutely. Depends what you feel like. Rush, Moving Pictures, The Police, Regada de Blanc, R.E.M., Murmur, Rio Statics, Here Come the Wolves. Simon Dzauki. I've got to be careful doing these names. No offense intended to anyone with a fancy name. My first one was a hard one. That's what she said. Kong Diamond. Conspiracy. Okay. Don't know it. Rick Eccles recently got back into Killing Joke, and their 2003 album of the same name is phenomenal. Plus, Dave Grohl absolutely kills it on drums. Best thing he has done. Killing Joke. I don't know that. Oh, what was that? Sean Vidal. Is that Trackman a New Zealand release only? Really? Collector's item. Marketed by CBS Records New Zealand and associated with Festival Records. Huh, there you go. A little bit of water damage, unfortunately, on this, but I'm happy to sell it for a premium to any of my American viewers. Top Gun, yes, Penny, what a movie. Andrew Reday, you missed my comment before. Not happy, not a happy camper. My greatest album is Operation Mindcrime by Queensryche. The greatest concept album ever written, hands down. You must be from England. Hands down, isn't it? Sheila Vasquez has retracted her message, which is very intriguing. I would love to know what it was. Lewis Collins, I mean, as a very religious Russian, I would love to say moving pictures, but I've just got a beating feeling there would have to be Hotel California or even Rumors. Yeah, monster albums. Again, this whole concept of an album, right? And your track listing was so important. You'd work with a producer and what song are we going to have first? You know, we want something that's really going to hit them hard and make a statement for the rest of their album. And then what do we do second, third, fourth? You know, how do we structure which songs go in there? Do we write songs specifically to fill those parts, or do we just rejig the order to make sense? The other thing the kids don't understand, when you put your Lionel Richie yeah, Lionel Richie, I'm telling you. When you put your Lionel Richie album on, right? Got no words for that. Smooth. But listen, when you get your vinyl and you pop it on the record player, you'd play your first, how many songs on this album? 4 on the first side. You've actually got to get up, physically flip it. So then you've got a whole thing of, well, how are we starting the second side of the album? You know, you might finish the first side with a ballad. So then when they flip it over, bam, you can come back in with a high energy track. So there was a real art to how you wanted to structure your album, and a lot of thought in it. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't often like just single. It was, you know, there were specific album songs that did the job of an album song. Now, one more time in case you missed it. Mr. Smooth. And then you open it up and hey, it's a party. Just unbelievable. Good old 80s. Okay, what else we got here? A couple from me, and this is Andy Ryan. Opeth, Watershed, GNR, Appetite for Destruction, top 5 for me as well. Radiohead, OK Computer. I'm not a Radiohead guy. Not yet, at least. Queensryche, Mindcrime, Porcupine Tree, and Absentia. Awesome. Brooke Hornback. I have the movie Pretty in Pink album. Great. I don't know a lot of the music on there. I'm assuming it's going to be really like awesome 80s, new wave, new romantic stuff, which I absolutely love. Another guilty pleasure album is actually the Dirty Dancing soundtrack. You had the 80s half of that soundtrack, but then you also had the 60s soul part of that soundtrack. I'm all about my 60s soul, so it might have been 50s and 60s soul actually on that one, and it's a great album. It's not really an album. It's a great soundtrack. Suzanne, I love the Miami Vice soundtrack. Okay, I don't know much about that. Rowan Phillips, Lamb of God, Ashes of the Wake, can listen to it in one sitting and every song is great. Peak metal in my opinion. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This whole concept of an album. It's a great album. Not just a great song, it's a great album top to bottom. You listen to the hits when they come out. You know, when I first got Hysteria, when I first bought Appetite for Destruction, those were the big albums for me when I was a kid. You know, of course, first thing I put on is I just skip it to Paradise City. Oh my God. And then Welcome to the Jungle, Sweet Child of Mine, and oh man, you know, the week is just made up of those 3 songs basically. And then you end up, you know, you're away from your record player and it keeps playing. And then you hear that, oh, It's So Easy, My Michelle, Night Train. And then after a while, I really dig these ones. And you know, I've heard Paradise City and Sweet Child of Mine so many times, I'm actually starting to like these other songs. And then you're a fan. You know, you're a real fan at that point. Sean Vidal, it's like the 50s all over again. Music is single driven, not album driven. Yeah, I agree. Rowan Phillips, Megadeth, Polaris, Rust in Peace was pretty great. I'm a little bit behind on the comments here. Brooke Hornback, love Duran Duran. Yep, so do I. Sheila Vasquez, are you sick, Andrew? You know, you probably noticed I constantly have a cough. I think I've had a cough on the channel since I started it. I've got a really poor immune system. I'm not specifically sick, but yeah. And since having COVID, I just have not been able to shake this nagging cough. But I've often got a little tickle there, which is really annoying. Brooke Hornback, Requiem? What is that? I can't read this person's name. Opeth, Blackwater Park. Might as well end the stream right there. Okay, yeah, we're done. Thanks for watching. No, you know what, to be completely honest, we're probably not going to go for as long as normal. That's what she said. We're probably going to have to cut it realistically in 5 to 10 minutes. I've just got so much on my plate at the moment. Teaching's back on and all this, and yeah, it's a big day. So the live streams have been roughly about an hour, and today, yeah, I will have to cut this one a little bit shorter than that. Sean Vidal, my first album I ever owned was the Osmonds Live, a great live album. They rocked before the teeny bopper stuff. Awesome. Patrick Schlosser, In Excess, Kick. Great album, totally agree. Just a great act and a great album. Talk about frontman, you know, with swag and style. Some really good, I'm probably not going to be able to get to all the comments here, sorry. Springy, I have about 300 favorites, but I can't live without Rush Hemispheres. Nice. Oh my God, this person's got a lot of MC Roman numerals in their name. I'm an evil metal guy, but I actually like soul from the 50s, 60s. This is something that a lot of people on my channel won't know about, and they're always shocked. They're like, how can you be a drum teacher and you don't know Black Sabbath? Well, you know, when you were listening to Black Sabbath and when you were listening to Led Zeppelin, I was listening to Philly Soul and the Drifters and the Platters and R&B and I don't know, when I was, you know, younger than that, Vanilla Ice, MC Hammer, I don't know, different era, right? Different era. It's just the way it is. But oh, hold on. W. Brett Gray, Alice in Chains, Dirt. That is right up there for me. Hope you saw my Alice in Chains drum cover that I did a while back. I should do another one actually, now that I've got better sounds going on the E-kit. Jason Chaska, Corrosion of Conformity, Deliverance. Okay, no, I don't know it. Dagmar, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. I'm out of sync with the jokes. Sorry, Brooke. Children of Bodom. Okay, don't know it. Phil Dubois. Sorry, Phil. Hopefully that's how we do your name. Buddy Rich live in London, his band at its best. Yeah, when you find a big band, when they're really on fire, there's a great one with Frank Sinatra. Is it Frank Sinatra at the... No, Count Basie. I can't remember who the drummer was. And it's just a live big band one, and it is just fire. Undeniable fire. Suzanne. My parents bought me a stereo system, Led Zeppelin 4, black light, and a black light poster of a wizard on a hill, and it changed my entire life at the age of 13. And that's what I'm talking about, right? That influences you forever. It's so powerful. Brooke Hornback, I had the Kick CD, the In Excess. Yeah, great. And Sheila Vasquez is giving me medical advice here. Vitamin D, take it, it works good. In tablet form. Have your stomach checked. Seriously. You know what? Because of my lifestyle, I guess, not so much right at the moment, but because gigs are still got gigs every week, but not as many as I used to do. When I was gigging a lot, and it was just teaching 6 days a week. I've taught 6 days a week for years. And then gigging on the weekends. When I was at uni, I'd gig 4 or 5 times a week. And, it's just, I think it does catch up with you after a while. And yeah, I would often sort of constantly be a little bit down, I guess, like tired and I guess overworked, possibly just with the constant late nights. You're getting in from these gigs at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, and then you start early the next morning, or you're doing a school run, and you're up at 7, and yeah, it gets to you after a while. So yeah, did that for years and years and years. So who knows? Maybe I did my chips back then. Dark Side of the Moon is my favorite relaxing album. Okay, Sheila, thank you for that. Multivitamin, I'll look into that. Sheila, don't forget to check out Brooksy, Cena, also Mia Morris. So these are all drummers, I assume. Oh, you know what? I asked you guys what your favorite albums are, or what is the greatest album of all time. Obviously, there's no one answer. This is just a totally subjective. It's just a fun thing to talk about. Now, if I have to think off the top of my head, I think one of mine would have to be Daft Punk, Random Access Memories. It's a 2012 album. It's the album, you'll know Get Lucky was on it, and what were the other hits that were on it? Lose Yourself to Dance was one of them. Yeah, but honestly, check out that album. I believe, when I looked into it, because I was so blown away with that album, and it's got real players on it, it was their love letter to late 70s, early 80s, the whole session scene, which is my thing. That's my scene. And they used those players, my favorite musicians of all time, guys like JR on the drums, Nathan East on the bass, Nile Rodgers on guitar. That album is an absolute masterpiece. They even went back into the studios those guys used to record in to get the exact sounds, to get the performances. I believe they spent $1 million recording that album. One thing that I really appreciated about it is I could hear the care and love that was put into that album. I could hear it. There was so much ridiculous level of detail in it. All these references, I could hear little licks on different instruments. I could hear licks that were references to songs that I knew. I could hear melodies that were clear love letters to songs that they loved, obviously growing up. It's a fantastic album. Daft Punk, Random Access Memories. All right. As Pac Blaze, most Rush albums, but Clockwork Angels is a great non-moving pictures album. So everybody's talking about moving pictures. That might be the album to check out. Hey, we're going to have a Rush week coming up because, as I promised, when we had 100,000 subs, I'm going to do another Rush week. G&R, Appetite for Destruction. I mean, that is just an undeniably great album. Top 5 for me, without a doubt. Brilliant album. And I can honestly say, I'm not much of a fan of a lot of their other stuff. I don't particularly like their other albums. I feel like that album is pure lightning in a bottle. Now, it's very different to the Daft Punk album I was talking about, which is crafted and slick and perfect performances. This is the total opposite extreme. It's dirty, it's messy. Also live performances though. And again, it had a lot of care put into it, but it's just that lightning in a bottle. You're getting a bunch of dudes who are essentially homeless. Using drugs, drinking. There's a lot of booze was downed during the making of the album. And you're hearing like it's just lightning in a bottle, and I feel like what came before wasn't as good and what came after wasn't as good, but that captured the peak for them, and I just love that. Simon, Joe Bonamassa, Different Shades of Blue. And you've started to play a drum cover of Get Back My Tomorrow? Let's hear it, man. You post a link. Working Man, Too Many to Put Down. Here are my top 5. Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd, Hotel California, Moving Pictures, Physical Graffiti, Back in Black. All of those are absolute classics, of course. Deadwing, Porcupine Tree, that's Johnny Van Newkirk. Sorry guys, as I said before, this is going to be a little bit of a shorter video than my normal live ones because I'm just crazy busy today. Sheila Vasquez, the Cars had good music back in the day. I love the Cars, absolutely love the Cars. So I'm going to cut this short. I'm going to turn this off real soon. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. So not just in the chat, but also in the comment section. Hit me with an album that I need to check out or that you just want to share that you think is a great album. Oh, God, that's interesting. We've got a bit of electronic music. Rival Consoles, John Hopkins, Royksop, Boards of Canada, Aphex Twin. Aphex Twin are, they're a group. They're a little bit like Daft Punk where, not only electronic fans, but general civilians and musicians listen to them and go, damn, this is actually really cool. As Pac Blaze, when you do another Rush week, be sure to include Headlong Flight. Okay, I haven't heard that song. It would have played probably on the Brendan Taves when he did the 175 Rush songs. But yeah, no, I don't remember that one. Actually, one thing I will leave you with, and remember, leave your albums in the comments. Don't be afraid to leave a comment there as well as the chat. I've obviously been putting out quite a lot of covers recently, and when I get a chance, I'm hoping to do a series of videos on hopefully helping out. I'm getting a lot of messages about those covers and what drum kit should I use and what do you think of Moises and all this kind of stuff. So I do want to do a series of videos to help anyone out doing a cover. I'm not saying my covers are the best or whatever, but I do want to do a series of videos on that. And one thing that always concerns me, I guess, or I find odd, is whenever I release a cover, I'll always get a comment, oh, it's great to see you finally play the drums. And I always find that weird because I'm just looking now in my drum reaction playlist. I've got 433 videos, which is a lot. I'm not saying that's not a lot of videos. It is. But on my channel, I've got 1,200 videos. So, I mean, with a bit of maths, which I'm a drummer, I'm not a mathematician. I'm reading something else here. I'm not a mathematician. How many videos have I actually got altogether on the channel? 1,220 videos. 433 are reactions. So you can do the maths. You can tell me how many videos that is. First person to get the answer right gets a chocolate fish. But so what is that? That's 2/3 of the videos on this channel. Somewhere in the vicinity of 800 videos are not reactions. They're actually me playing, or me. Some of them will be interviews and stuff. So yeah, dig around and have a look, and you might find something that surprises you. And also the whole E-kit cover thing is fairly recent. So I've had a few people saying, oh, comments about the E-kit, but again, you don't have to dig too far back to find me doing covers on an acoustic. So yeah, it's just interesting. I think this is a bit of a YouTube algorithm thing where the algorithm likes to pump out, if you've seen a reaction and you liked it and maybe you watched another one, maybe it's just going to keep throwing those at you. Or maybe you're not interested in the covers, or you only watch the covers of the songs you like. I don't know. Anyway, plenty of covers on the channel, plenty of me drumming, practicing, I think a few things of me at live shows. Okay, recently I rediscovered cool 80s stuff. I'm basically addicted to Talk and Tears for Fears. Man, that is my jam. All that stuff. I love the new wave, new romantic 80s stuff. Jeff Buckley, Grace. Antle Ten Brook. Jeff Buckley, Grace, yep. Absolutely amazing artist. Yeah, what can you say? Just fantastic. All right, I'm going to have to stop this here. Thank you so much for joining in on this live chat. Thank you for bumping up the subscriber numbers recently. We've had a little bump after my cry the other day. No one's subscribing. It's not, again, it's not like my subscriber numbers are low. It's just the ratio is low, which harms the channel in the way that a lot of people are watching, not subscribing, so it's not, YouTube's not helping me out. But yeah, thanks to you guys, that ratio has improved. Highway to Hell, Mean Metal Mike, there you are, buddy. I'm gonna have to go. Keep it going in the comment section. I'm always happy to find a new album to check out. Complete transparency, I cannot wait to get into the first Black Sabbath album. I've just realized the songs that I've done so far from Black Sabbath were both from, I believe, the second album. For some reason I thought they were from the first, but when I looked into it, the first album was called Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath, and I just cannot wait. I really went down the rabbit hole on that too. Got really into this late 60s, early 70s vibe, and, you know, learnt that they went in and recorded this album in 12 hours. You don't record an album in 12 hours, but they did. Just brilliant. Cannot wait to check it out. Again, I've gone off topic. I'm good at doing that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. And I got a little treat for you coming up tomorrow with a video. Yeah, lots of good stuff on the way. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great one. Ciao.